skill or your talent. Making money has never been about skill or talent. Making money has never been about being the best. It's never been about being the smartest. It's never been about being the most brilliant. Making money has always and will always be about who is the most energetically aligned to whatever they want, which is why it doesn't matter if Billy Bob, Sally Joe, and Kalia Mack all want the same thing. Well, we all want it in a different way, anyways. So it doesn't matter who's the best or who's the brightest or who's the most brilliant. Getting what I want doesn't take it away from you. And so if you want to manifest money very quickly, you need to do it from what I just like explained in the beginning, not through skill, not through talent, not through being the best, not through being the most intelligent or being the most educated or the most skilled. You do it through energetics, period. Because if you work on the 3D realm, you're going to get 3D results, which are based on time. They're based on your effort. They're based on how hard you work. And that is a recipe for slow money. When you get overnight money, in my case, it was overnight to me, but it was more like 10 days, 10 days, where my income flipped on its head. And I want to preface, I have since used that money, and it's not money that I regularly make anymore. That doesn't take away from the fact that it works. So, and now that I understand how it works, I'm interested in applying it to different places of my life. So I want to talk about one of the first instances first experiences I've had with the law of detachment and how you can also recreate that in your life. And even if, right, because I think the thing that made me not want to make this video, it was like, well, you don't make that type of money anymore. So why would you make that video? But it's like, well, I manifested like 11,000, 12,000 in a few days. What if you could use the same thing and get 1,000 or get 500 or get 200 or get 20,000? Like, what if you could just do it for yourself and see what happens? And if anything, you don't lose anything because you literally are just trying something out, right? Hey, you guys. So, yeah, you're just trying something out. So what's the harm in trying something out? There is no harm. So that's why I want to share this video, especially because I know how to do it and I can do it again when I feel like doing it again. Because the thing about it is, like, I'm going to get into the topic and I'm going to tell you how it works. But I'm talking about the law of detachment and how it manifests you money. How it manifests you money overnight. For me, it was 10-ish days how I manifested about $11,000. But what's more important is everything I preface the conversation with, because what people will do, you can ask me whatever questions. You need to manifest a man that leads you. I actually have already done that. So yeah, I just don't share that on here because I talk about monies. I don't talk about men's on here, but I've already done that. So but yeah, the thing I was going to say is that it's most important what I preface the conversation with, because what people want to know is how. And the thing about it is, you are source. You already know how. You already know. So if I tell you how, you're going to walk away with another how moment, and you're not going to be able to alchemize who you are and get to the point where you can get the thing you want. So I'm trying to like fill the gap between the stuff that you don't already have, which is like who you have to become, what you have to think to get manifestations to happen fast. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is that this whole thing is a paradox. When it comes to money making, the first paradox is that if you work on the 3D realm, in reality, it's based off of effort, it's based off of time, it's based off of hard work, and it's based off of basically outrunning other people who are on the same race and clawing your way to the top and trying to get past other human beings. And that's not how money is made on the quantum realm, when you're making tens of thousands of dollars out of nowhere over a few days. Okay, so if you want to work on that other thing, you can. I don't work on that realm anymore. If you want to work on the hard realm, cool. But let's work on the realm where we get our money fast. So who's the lucky one that will have to honor to teach you everything and make you a gorgeous wife? Well, when I post my engagement photos, then everyone will know. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, KaliaMac_. Because I will be posting my picture soon. Yeah. So the first thing is that, yes, a paradox. So when you think, okay, hard work, effort, clawing your way past other people equals the money. The paradox is that the least you work, the less effort you put in, the less you try, the less you actually give it attention, the faster and bigger it comes. That's the first paradox. And the law of detachment, when people talk about it, they say, want nothing, gain everything, right? And actually in this video, I'm going to be responding to comments as well. So I hope that the people who are watching for the content are able to you're able to watch all the way through, because I'm literally about to give you the whole game on how it literally happened. But you're going to have some patience, because I'm going to also answer questions in the comments. But yeah, so with the law of detachment, it's always people say, want nothing, get everything. But then it's hard to actualize what they mean by that. So I want to go into depth on the law of detachment and how it actually manifests you money. The first was the paradox of effort. Okay. You can make, I'm going to say this. The first time I made $7,000 in a week was the most money I had ever made over my life. So it wasn't like I was, I'm going to make $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000. No, it literally skipped from hundreds of dollars to 7 to 11. So we're in the realm where we're skipping numbers now. That's the other thing, is that if you're in your thought process thinking you're going to make money by doing it in this chronological, I guess, numerical order, you're still thinking on the other realm, which is the effort, hard work realm, which is where we don't work. The next thing is that when you actually put less effort into something, you are not doing it from lack unless you think you are. So there's this thing where people think putting in less effort and less time and less of their hard work equals that they're going to get less results. That's because you think that. Okay? If you think that less effort equals more results, that will be your truth. If you think more effort equals less results, that will be your truth. If you think less results, it comes from less work, that will be your truth. Whatever you believe to be true will be true. So whatever relationship you have with those two things is going to be true. Okay? Now, it's very important. It's it's incredibly important that we think about this, okay? Because it's not necessarily the beliefs or the phrases or the thoughts or the statements or the ideas we have. It's about who we are when we have those thoughts, beliefs, etc. So if I decide I'm going to put in the least amount of work because I feel my best when I don't overwork myself, and that should bring me whatever I need to survive and live and thrive and etc. That will be the truth. But if in the same tone you say, I'm going to work the least because I'm lazy and I'm stupid and I'm scared and I'm going to fail, well, we're both working from the same foundation. However, one of us is going to get a really great result and one of us is not. But we have the same belief. So, and we have the same idea and we have the same action. So it's not necessarily your action. This is why the action and the skill and the effort and etc. doesn't matter. Because if you do have an idea, it only matters who is the person saying it. It's almost like when there's like a rumor going around and you're like, well, who told you that rumor? Is it the person that runs their mouth and lies about everything? Or is it the one that never talks about anybody and they're probably telling the truth? Like, it matters the source. So when you're trying to download an idea or download money or learn about money, it's important that you do it from the proper source. So you have to be the proper person to do it. So the third thing is that you need to understand that working less is going to get you what you want, and you need to figure out how to tie it back to the law of detachment to make that true for you. So use the example I just gave, but more so, I want you to use something like, when I do too much, that's desperation. That's from a place of fear. That's a place of no trust. That's a place of lack. That's a place of anxiety. That's what I'm doing it from. Because I'm trying to put all my eggs in one basket, or I'm trying to put in so much effort saying that it's because I care so much, but really it's because I'm so scared that I just want it to be over with, and I just want it to work out. So I'm like just going to throw in everything and hope something works out. Something sticks, right? That's what most people are doing with their money. So when you understand that working with no effort, or not working hard at all, or not working at all, etc., actually gets you more of what you want, then you will act from that place. And if you are still doing the most because you're convincing yourself that doing the most is how you're going to get to where you want to get to, that's based off a place of fear and lack. The other thing is that when you have a law of detachment, you actually stay emotionally neutral. And it releases and it reduces all pressure, and it releases all pressure, and it skyrockets your clarity. Now, the reason why your skill and your talent and etc. don't matter is because God will give you everything you need in 2 seconds. There's going to be some trial and some error of learning something, etc. But you get to a point where you're like, okay, I know exactly what to do. I know how to run this business. I know how to grow it. I know what to do. I have the information. But what you're doing is you will actually block yourself from having the level of clarity that allows you to detach. So when you are emotionally neutral and you reduce all your pressure and you release all your pressure, you're skyrocketing your clarity, because your clarity comes from when you detach. So it's like a domino effect. So you have the law of detachment, where you're understanding that the least you work, the least effort you put in, the least amount of time, right? The least amount is actually coming from a place of immense trust, immense confidence, immense clarity. That's where it's coming from. No pressure, emotional neutrality. And then the fourth thing, or I guess the fifth thing now, is that actually the law of detachment gives everything the space to manifest naturally. And it is the ultimate vehicle of effortlessness and allowing. So again, your education, your professionalism, the fact of your academic track record, your skill, your talent, your effort, how hard you work, none of it matter if you're going to have a very effortful process. So you have to give what you want, aka the manifestation, space to manifest naturally. Now, it can only manifest naturally when you give it space. It's only going to manifest effortlessly when you give it space. How do you give it space? You give it space by allowing the vehicle, which is whatever you're doing, to allow the money to come in. Well, how do you do that? You do that by detaching. How do you detach? You release all your pressure, and you release all the fear and the lack and the trust, and the distrust that you have, and manifesting from a place of fear. So in a practical sense, you legitimately have to care so much that you release all of the pressure. And one of the things that I thought about was also, win or lose, good or bad, with or without, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm held. I'm fine. I'm safe. That is the law of detachment. So if you want the law of detachment in 4 simple words, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm held. I'm good. Or whatever 4 you want to choose. It doesn't matter. That is the law of detachment. Because if you say those 4 things, but then you're also putting all your eggs in one basket and you're pushing and you're trying and you're putting so much effort, those are 2 counterintuitive ideas. And in one of my videos, I talked about, I don't quite remember the video name, but it was a video about double-mindedness. And in that video, I talked strictly about how being double-minded actually, I'm actually going to try to find the video for anybody who's watching like after and they want to know. So, I just hit 170 subscribers. Thank you guys. We're like closer to 200 than we are to 100. Isn't that crazy? So it's a video that I recently posted though. I definitely know where it is. It is, I think it's called, okay. So it's either called Elevate and Thrive with Money One-on-One, Elevate and Thrive with Money 101, Actually Manifests, and it has $3 signs. It might be The Equation I Use to Change 3D Reality and Unlock New Money. It's one of those 3. It has to be one of those 3 because I posted during that time. Or maybe it's Money Reflects Your Mindset, Change One, Elevate the Other. Might be that one. So it might be any of the videos, basically. It's a video that was between June. It was during the month of June. It's a live video I posted in the month of June. So to anyone who's curious, there you go. But everything is a paradox. So the way that it should work is not how it works. And it's really easy to think that it works that way because 99% of people still live that way. 99% of people still live in effort. Even if you want to live a life of abundance and you want to live a life of like luxury and live a life of freedom, the actual way you live your life is still not of that. It still doesn't reflect that. So it's like 50%, let's just say 50% of people aren't even interested in abundance content. Then there's a 50% of people that are. 99% of those actually don't do it, and only 1% does. So just because everybody's talking in abundance talk doesn't mean they actually are doing the real work in their real lives, creating real lives for them, creating real lives, real results, real changes for themselves, and real changes where they can call in whatever they want, where they can manifest whenever they want, whenever they like their results of their life is actually reflecting the things they talk about. So that's how it works. A law of detachment. Let's go over them again. So it's a paradox. And when you detach by giving yourself the least pressure possible, right? So giving yourself the least pressure possible to you might be no time limits. To me, I like it depending on the time. Maybe I don't like a time limit. Maybe I don't. But sometimes I do. Sometimes a time limit is good. Okay. Sometimes I need an activity to anchor in the thing that I'm learning. Sometimes I don't, depending on the thing. It's almost like every single time you go to Chick-fil-A, you need to get a chicken sandwich. It's like, no, what if I want to get chicken nuggets? What if I want something else? Like, it's still the same Chick-fil-A, but what if I want something else off the menu? Like, you can choose whatever you want to do for whatever you want to do. That's not the part that matters. The part that matters is that you detach not by giving up, but you detach by reframing how you're even attached to the situation and attached to the thing that you want. And you'll know when you get to the point of no detachment because you're going to do something. There's going to be an action where you're like, oh my gosh, that's the play. Oh my gosh, this is what I do to not feel like I have so much pressure, where I feel protected, where I feel good, where I feel safe, where I feel held, where I feel supported. There's going to be a point in that. So if you're watching this video now and you rewatch from the beginning, it's going to post on my YouTube channel, kydreamsbig, and it's going to be available in the live section of my YouTube channel. Just click the live tab and you'll see this video in about 2 minutes. Watch from the beginning. Do what I said, like the 5 steps I gave, and then you'll be detached from what you want. That's true control, okay? When you're detached, that's false control based on lack, based on scarcity, based on survival. When you actually detach, that's true control, and you always get what you want at the end of it anyways, which is manifesting the money like this overnight. So I'll see you guys in my next video. That was a quick little, 20 minutes on the dot, or 21 minutes on the dot. And I'll see you guys in because my phone's literally about to die too. So I'll see you guys in my next video.